said, and I quote, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." The importance of faith is found throughout the writing and teachings of our founders, like in the Declaration of Independence, where we declare to all the world that we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The notion that our individual rights comes from God, not from government.
But to stand in an actual gas chamber where hundreds of thousands of people were put to death, I was trying to reflect on that, on what had happened there. 6 million Jewish people systematically exterminated by the Nazis. And we know the judgment that fell upon Nazi Germany, and we look at that and say that was correct. But I have to tell you that I also had the thought, in my country, in the United States of America, since I was born in 67, since 1973, and I was 6 years old, since then, we have systematically murdered more than 55 million children. 55 million children. If this isn't changed in the next few years, we'll hit 60 million babies that we have systematically murdered. And I came here 2 years ago, not to be political, but to make a point. We are not on the road to decline. We're on the road to implosion. We're on the road to judgment if we don't turn. Because we're about to hit, America will have killed, if we get to 60 million, we'll have killed 10 times more human beings than the Nazis killed of the Jews. What do we think is going to happen? It's extraordinary that hasn't happened already.
19 kids and counting. I'm sure many of you have watched that. And we have a lot of things that we stand for as a family. And often you'll see those things depicted on the show. And people will ask us this, how real is your reality show? And it's often, a lot of these shows are very scripted, but we try to keep it as accurate as possible. And most of you in this room agree with where we stand on the issues. But let me be clear, with my family having been in the public eye for a number of years, I want to set a few things straight. I believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I believe that God is the giver of all life. He says it's sacred, from conception to natural death. I believe that marriage is between one man and one woman, period. I believe that religious liberty is a core principle of liberty upon which this nation was founded. And it's not just an American right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a human right. I mean, you look at the case of Miriam Ibrahim, a woman who was literally chained as she was giving birth to a baby in a prison for saying, "No, I will not recant my faith in Jesus Christ." It is incumbent upon each of us to stand in those cases and to take a stand with those who have that kind of faith. What we're seeing here today, as we're beginning the discussion for 2016, as we're looking at 2014 very closely, as we're working in many of these states, as I'm talking to many of you in the grassroots movement, those of you who are understanding that this is our time, such a time as this, we've been brought to a place where we have the ability to stand up like never before.
And save those people's lives. We do virtually nothing except stand back and watch ISIS use the weapons that we made and created against those very people. Where's the leadership in that? But I ask, where is the outrage in this country that we have not kept our promises to those Kurdish people? The government of Maliki in Iraq said he would take the weapons and he would see that the Kurds got them. But out of his corruption, nothing has been delivered to the Kurds. Nothing. And they stand there tonight, battling with little more than the hopes that America will once again be a nation that values people, who love freedom, and who love God. And why aren't we there? When, my friend, there is a difference between the good and the bad, the light and the dark, and our our government seems not to know the difference between a Frank Capra film and a Quentin Tarantino film. We seem not to know the difference between that which is good and that which is bad, who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, and it's time we understand that there is such a thing called evil, and we must stand against it, stop it, and eradicate it, or else it will come after us.
And we need to bring back jobs, growth, opportunity, and defend the Constitution. My philosophy is very simple. In Texas, we define gun control as hitting what you're aiming at. But the American people rose up and spoke with a clarion voice, and when President Obama's gun control proposals came to a vote on the Senate floor, every single proposal that would have undermined the Second Amendment was voted down on the Senate floor.
There's a rebellion brewing amongst these United States of America. The people have had enough and we're ready to take our country back. We don't need incremental change, we need big change in our nation's capital. They better get out of the way.
You can dream again when parents are in charge and they can live out Deuteronomy 6, where kids are taught when they wake up in the morning, when they're taught when they're in the way during the day, when they're taught when they go to bed at night, and they're taught all the time by their parents, not by the government. And you can dream again. You can dream again that God's name could be lifted up above all names, and we could boldly proclaim it. Yahweh, we can say Alpha and Omega, beginning and end, and our life is for God.
When a crisis occurs here in the state, it is our neighbors helping neighbors, Iowans helping Iowans. It's our Iowa way to walk across the street and help a neighbor in need. We are so blessed to be Iowans, to live in a state where helping one another isn't an exception to the rule, it is the rule.
17.6 trillion. That is the size of the U.S. federal debt at this moment and rising. Let me give you another number, 2.24 billion. That is the amount of money that is added to the federal debt every day we draw a breath in this country. I'm glad you're sitting down for this next number. 23 trillion. That is the amount that the OMB projects the federal debt will reach when Barack Hussein Obama leaves office 2 years from now. Actually, 77%. That is the number, according to the latest polls, of Americans who think that this country is headed in the wrong direction. Friends, we are enslaving our children and our grandchildren with Congress and the President spending money we don't have.
I am so bullish about America. Oh, we got our problems. Listen, I tell you, I was going to get around to Washington. And we got our challenges. You know, we've got a debt that is the same size as our domestic product. We have millions of people out there that can't find the job that they want. 1 out of 7 of our people are on food stamps. But we don't have to accept that fate. We do not have to accept that fate in this country. But we can make America new again.
Perception is not reality. Reality is reality. We can't be afraid. We speak the truth in love and let perception handle whatever it handles, and we speak the truth.
Can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yes, go ahead. I love when I get a chance to interrupt him. But I remember standing there just before our very first press conference, and I remember somebody saying, hey guys, if you handle this right, you'll protect your brand, and you can probably get another reality show. I said, you can take my brand and you can punt it from here to the West Coast. Because this isn't about a brand. This is about elevating Jesus Christ in a moment where he needs to be elevated.
Over 6%. We were saddled with a $55 million per year iJobs debt payment for 25 years. But Iowans spoke on Election Day in 2010, choosing conservative leadership. We rolled up our sleeves and we got to work. We put the state's budget in order with a biannual budget, a 2-year budget with 5-year projections, spending less than we take in. We restored all the money the previous administration took from the cash reserve and economic emergency account. I love this state. I love our country. I want Iowa to be the envy of the nation.